I want to welcome you all to my Thailand trip recap. And on this episode of Eye of the Storm, I'm extremely tired, but I had to get on here and record. I've been back for a couple of hours and I haven't adjusted yet to the time. The time difference. If it's 2 in the afternoon here, it's 2 in the morning in Thailand. So I'm kind of thrown off, but I needed to get on here, record, and to talk about what happened. I went out there to look at some of my investment properties. I went out there to look at my home. I went out there to look at investing in businesses. And one thing I realized is that I was literally sitting too close to the fire being here in the States. Now, isn't going to be an episode about me bashing the United States and me talking about how you can do better by moving out the country, going all over the world. No, it's going to be a conversation about what's happening here and to focus on the why I needed to broaden out, why I needed to um, get away to see what's going on from a distance. Like if you're too close to something, you really can't see what's going on. It's sort of that expression, you can't see the forest for the trees. You're standing too close to the tree, you can't see the entire forest. So I needed to back up and get out of it. And once I did, I realized a couple of things, right? First, I'm going to start with the obvious. The obvious is the peace of mind, the stress. It wasn't I needed to get up. For me personally, it wasn't that I had to get up every day. Those who live in New York, those who have to deal with, driving a car, alternate side of the street parking. I didn't have to deal with that, first of all. I didn't have to deal with moving my car. I didn't have to deal with the traffic of being in traffic all the time, driving continuously, having to be somewhere in New York is known to be a walking place, but you could use transportation, but still, that's always busy. So the amount of stress of being here, that was alleviated. The amount of stress of the constant information that we're being provided with, because you can't escape it. You can't escape the fact that everything is high. The cost of living is high, rent is high, mortgage high, shopping is high, going out expensive. That added stress. So once I stepped away and was in a place where I realized, crucial thing, that my money wasn't um, prohibited. It didn't have a cap on what I could do with it. Now, I'm just talking about Thailand, specifically Phuket. And I'll get into the thoughts of what people think about Thailand shortly, but I'm going to talk about Phuket. Just going out to eat dinner, it was 4 people in our party. Now we're dining on everything fresh. I mean, we had 4 or 5 different dishes of fish right out the ocean. We had different greens. We had you name different rice, different noodles. And there was no such thing as let me have the organic. It wasn't stuff that was shipped on a truck from one state to another state and needed to be sprayed and preserved. Everything was fresh. So you look at 4 of us having dinner and drinks included. Normally that would be here in the States. That's easy, a $600 bill. Easy, $600, $700, easy. For 4 of us, that bill came up to $47. $47. And I know a lot of people, well, what do you expect? That's based on the economy and things that I know, whatever way people want to put it. But no, what that was based on, the fact that they can afford to charge that much because the food is not going through being outsourced and going through so many different distributors. So yeah, they can afford to charge you the correct amount for that food. And that alone was great. My investment property that I have out there, the overhead cost, I have a unit that I'll be renting out there for seasonal renting. And my overhead to cover that unit alone was about $150 a month. I'm talking water, internet, the electric, all in to manage that property. And I'm expected to make in low season, anywhere from $700 to $1,000 a week. In high season, I'm expected to make anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 a week in high season. Now remember, that's weekly, but my overhead monthly is a little over $150 a month. That's an investment property. to pay rent. You all hear about people who live in Thailand and other places. You're paying $600, $700, $800 a month to live in a high rise, to live, have pool, gym. So I always recommend people, if you can make money without actually having to be in this country where you live, that money would go far regardless to where you're at. But now I want to give you what my daily routine was, which I miss greatly being back already since I've been back. I would wake up, I could go downstairs. You have nothing but great fruit stands everywhere. Fruits are in abundance everywhere. So I would go down, I would get me a pineapple, I would get me a small watermelons, pineapples, they would cut up into these little swirls, the sweetest pineapples I've ever had in my life. Mangoes growing right there, but they would have tons of mangoes. And that would be literally the start of my day. Fresh fruits, watermelon, pineapples, mango, and some water. Incredible. Then I would get out, take a great walk around the neighborhood, great sun. I can walk right to the beach, which was a 7-minute walk. I chose not to be right on the beach because I didn't have the sand and everything coming in. My unit that I have is right by an amusement park, which is going to make great money. And now the home that I'm going to live in is off the beach. And I want to tell you guys something. That alone, my diet changed. My skin, I bullshit you not. I can see the impact on everything, is even as far as how my digestion system was working. And I'm an avid biker and baller here in the States. So that would help speed up my metabolism to help me. But I realized it was the food I was digesting. So my routine with that. But now I'm going to get back to the financial aspect of things. Your money should not be something that you have to try to balance to decide on paying a bill and eating. And I realize for a lot of people, that's where it's at in the States. Just because you was born and raised somewhere doesn't mean you have to grow old and die here. You need to start financially planning on how to survive. And I had people say, well, I'm going to leave the city and go to a smaller state where the cost of living is not as much as a New York compared to maybe Alabama, certain parts in the South. But I'm going to give you a heads up. Those places are expensive too. And the people who live there can tell you. Georgia used to be that place. Atlanta used to be that place. It's very expensive. I have real estate there. Well, I don't have as much. For those of you that know, I've been selling a majority of my real estate. But if you think about going from one state to another for the cost of living, you have to now say, how am I making money? Is it I'm transferring jobs there? Well, your pay is going to be lower there. But if you're making money online and now you could take that money to live comfortable in that state, go. I recommend that. But if you can find it within you to take a trip, to leave the country, you don't have to go as far as I went. You can go to the Dominican Republic, go to Mexico, go anywhere. But you need to start considering, what is your livelihood going to look like? Can you continue to keep up with what's going on? I do a monthly job report loss here on my channel, and I'm going to put the link here so you guys can see it. There's going to be 8.9 million jobs lost by 2030. Your job will not survive. So no matter how comfortable you think you are with your job and it's going to be around for a while, it's not. You need to start planning. There are interviews with CEOs who are talking about their job is in jeopardy. Their management team job is in jeopardy. So once I stepped away from the fire and started realizing real estate wasn't the only thing that was in jeopardy for us to make money. We have minorities, low-income people who buy real estate, want to make money off of the rental incomes and the government programs. That's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. I want to tell this to you in the most realistic way. What I mean by gone, you will make money, but you will not build wealth. You will never build wealth in real estate ever again, Unless if you're a real estate investor now and you have huge apartment buildings, yeah, you will be making money. But if you're not in the real estate and you think, well, I'm going to save up for 2 years and I'm going to become a real estate investor, the game is over. It's done. You will not find those properties that you can buy for low cost, rent those out, make a significant amount of money to do what I did where I left my job in 5 years. No, you will need to you will make money in real estate by renting it out, but you will also put yourself at risk based on the quality of tenant that you're renting to. I feel anybody with a job who's paying you money for rent, you're in jeopardy of them losing their job and you not getting rent anymore. That's something I couldn't deal with based on COVID and watching me lose roughly about $100,000 during COVID, not just due to the loss of rent, people not paying rent or people losing jobs. It was the turnover, having to fix those apartments to re-rent them after the tenant was moved out. So it wasn't just rent. It was the wear and tear of them living there all this time, knowing they're leaving, not taking care of the property, knowing eventually they're going to get kicked out. And I said, you know what, this job thing, they're showing me with this new administration that people are going to be fired. They're getting rid of people. If I'm relying on people to pay me rent, I'm literally waiting for COVID to happen again when everybody lose their job. So all you real estate investors out there, and I'm not trying to deter you, get into the programs, yes, but you can look at what is going on with this administration. They're looking to get rid of Section 8N programs. So your rent income will be in jeopardy. I'm not playing that game anymore. That's me personally. I have 43 real estate properties I owned as an individual, not partners. I have some properties with partners, but out of my 43 units, as of this recording, I sold 40 properties. I have 3 left. I'm going to be getting rid of all those last 3 properties. Yes, I will still have the apartment buildings with my partners and things like that, but I don't want anything to do with units where people have to pay me rent anymore. This is why, for me, I went in and I'm taking that money and I'm invested in different sectors, but I'm not going to get into that yet. I want to stay on the fact of me sitting too close to the fire and not realizing what I did until I went to Thailand. Once I left the United States and realized real estate was burning, I realized other things that we were depending on to make income is burning. Those things, music, entertainment. We have people who want to be artists. You guys are great at it, but look, you had an artist, and it's oddly strange that I've seen her post. Lady London talked about how there's no more money in music, which we kind of knew, but she brought clarity to it. There's no money in music. So where are you going to get money from? You want to be this artist. Yeah, you're getting the views, you're getting the streams, but I think they're paying you something like 3 cents, possibly or even 1 cent on Spotify and YouTube. And I think the most may be Tidal, which may be paying you somewhere to 10 to 12 cents per listen to per stream. That's not there. Even in the movie industry, there was another post where Matt Damon literally talked about how the movie industry, they're not making money anymore and how they're moving to AI generated extras and actors are signing off their likeness to make movies. So that's going to be gone too. Movies and music going to be gone because it's headed in that direction with AI. And also this thing I'm talking to you on now, podcasting. We have people who have podcasts doing shows. There's AI generated now where you can put your face in a program. AI will generate an entire background, an entire set, and you can give it the topics and it will create a artificial podcast that will look real. Like, just like how I'm sitting here, there are people who are creating podcasts of that nature. So you're not going to be generating the income on all of these things that we like to do. And here's another thing that I want to get into with this AI and a podcast entertainment. Even on these podcast platforms, the only way you're going to become a pop, you're going to have to start selling your soul more. I'm watching more and more podcast interviews in this conversation of relationships. And even on social media, people are being the worst version of themselves they can ever be so they can get eyeballs. Whether it's fighting, whether it's relationships, whether it's these crazy pranks where they're practically risking their lives, doing the dumbest things you can ever imagine. I've literally seen one where this guy had this popper, like a fake gunshot. And he would pop it and then jump over people and act like it's a shooting. And one guy pulls out a gun on him. Like, people are doing the weirdest things to try to make money in this space, but everything is burning around you. Every single platform that we think is going to be making money eventually will be gone. You need to start thinking about the money that you are making. What is that going to do? How is that going to survive? How can I live off of that money? For me, it was taking my money and my investments and investing in real estate in another country, tourism in other countries, me living in another country, and my money going further in another country. For me, that meant that I needed to get out there, go to these places, go see it, not go as a vacation. Let go of the thought of going as a vacation and going with the mindset of, I want to know, can I live here? I want to know, can I sustain and make money here? I want to know, how far does my $100,000 or my $10,000 would go in another country? For example, in Thailand, $1 is $30. So that means $100 is 3,000. 1,000 is $30,000. 10,000 is $300,000 of their money, and so on and so on. Your money will go further. And if you make money by content, by being online, by doing things like trading, which will be a topic I will get into, any way of making money, you don't have to be here to sustain a healthier way of life. I want you to go on YouTube and look for expats, people who move. Start following these type of people, because this kind of content will not become available to you if you're not looking at it, listening to it. And now you will start hearing the stories of people leaving. I saw a video of a veteran, him and his wife left the United States, moved to Thailand. His health care is better, his life is better, his doctors are better. Like, people will tell you everything is great here. United States did the best marketing plan honest they could have ever done. But now let me stay focused and talk about other things that's going on here in the United States. You have to think about your children. You have to think about the educational system, right? There are other countries where provide you great medical and great health care and great schooling for your children alone. And I'm going to consistently, like I said, talk about Thailand because that's all I can give you as a backdrop. Now, I want to talk specifically about certain parts of Thailand, because people hear about Thailand and go, oh, it's the women, oh, it's the nightlife, oh, it's this and that. No, there are different parts. Let's keep that clear. Vegas used to be Sin City, but now a lot of Vegas is geared towards family, because they understand that's where the money comes in. When you can lure the family, the children, that's where the money comes in. You can't be Sin City forever and grow. People grow up and become adults, and they want to travel with their family. So you have Bangkok. Bangkok, which is really young, energetic, vibrant, the nightlife. It's a party scene. It's great. But you also have those smaller parts of Bangkok for people who could live and don't want that. But majority of younger generations go to Bangkok. They enjoy themselves. That's their scene. You have Pattaya, which is a nightlife within itself, which is a crazy, great, enjoyable scene, if you like that, of the women, of the drinking, of the partying for the adults. Not really the younger, but it's that adult retired who want that kind of nightlife to party and enjoy. Then you have Phuket, where I plan to be, and I have investments and a home. That's more of the relaxed retirees. You do have a nightlife. Don't get it confused. You do have that district where you can go, the women are there, the bars, you can enjoy yourself. But for the most part, being in Phuket, it's the family, it's the shopping, it's the tourism, it's the beaches, it's all of those things in Phuket where it's the laid back, you're in a different phase of life. If you want to party and shop, yeah, we can go to Bangkok. If you want to have a great wild night with your boys, okay, let's go to Pattaya. If you want to have a little nightlife, stay in Phuket, but you're still enjoying yourself. Now, the value of the real estate there has changed dramatically in 1 year since I've been there. Your units I purchased range anywhere from like 70,000 to 100,000. Now those same units are going for over 100,000 to 200,000, almost doubling in their value. Now there's so much construction going on out there. But I would tell you, leave the United States to understand what it's like. Start thinking about that. The dollar is changed. You need to start thinking about the value of what you're going to get for your money. We need to get out of survival mode. It's not about being in survival mode no more. If you feel in the stress, the grind of getting up to go to work every day, because you have to. Yes, you have to work. But still, what are you doing with those funds to set up your future if your job was to be taken from you like right away, like snatched from you? Are you investing? Are you putting yourself in a position where you can do something else? I'm going to stick to me and what I know and what I'm doing. Me getting out of real estate by selling everything that I have besides my deals with my other partners, but getting rid of 43 of my personal units. I trade also. I will get up, look at the market, I will trade roughly from 9:30 to 11 o'clock. I have days where I make 1,000. I had a day I made $3,000 in an hour, 2 hours. Then I have days where I may lose $500. But my wins will outpace my losses because I'm studying this thing, because I'm learning the market. And outside of learning the market, I'm learning the economics of what's going on here. Now that I'm into the market the way I am, I understand why we will not win in this war that the United States have made up their mind. They want to be the owner of the IP and the tech, but they don't want to be the driving force of creating jobs. They're giving away the jobs and pushing the jobs out the country, no matter how much they tell you they're trying to bring job backs. They're not opening up factories for nobody to make iPhones, for nobody to start making cars. This will be robotic. Like, it's not happening. But there's a lie being told. There's a place for you if you stick around and watch us grow. Yeah, the country is going to grow, but they're going to sacrifice millions of people, low class, low income people. We're going to be the sacrifice because they're going to go, well, you know what? There's no way we can get to this next tier without sacrificing few people. And they're willing to do that, and they're showing that. The middle class will not exist anymore. It literally doesn't exist now. So I want you to grasp, how do you feel when you're on vacation? What do you think about when you're out there and you're going, wow, my money goes so far. But now you're running back to go through the race again. Start thinking about your vacations as a place you could possibly live. Once I left, for those that follow me, my Instagram, I did a video. I looked at that video, and when I talked about the peace for the first night of me staying there and waking up, the overwhelming comfort and relaxation that hit me. And I realized I can't go back to the life that I had before. I can't go back to that thought process of I have several assistants working for me, dealing with the real estate, the market of people moving out, they're losing their jobs. I had some tenants that were federal workers that lost their jobs, some that had to report back to the office. Now I have these properties, and I'm saying to myself, why are you stressing dealing with what's happening to other people in their livelihood and their jobs? And it's impacting me because I'm relying on them in their livelihood to support my livelihood. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to make money based on the numbers. I'm going to make money based on the growth of the economy or the decline of the economy. And that's what trading allowed me to do. And that's what stocks allowed me to do. Economy's doing bad. Well, I can leverage against that and make money. If it's doing good, I can leverage against that. If it's going down, I can buy some stocks. And when those stocks go up, I can sell those stocks for a percentage and just keep balancing. There are people who don't trade. There are people who buy stocks at a low, sell them at the high, keep the profits, and do the same thing over and over again. Because you know what? While it's going up, you're buying on a low, selling on the high, made a profit, it goes down, buy on a low, sell on a high, you're making profits again. And now you can do that continuously. You don't have to be a day trader. There are people who just trade levels. Like, I'm not going to get into that deep thing, but what I'm saying is we've been taught to believe that anything besides getting up to go to work every day is a hustle. We've been told that, no, Wall Street and making money, oh, that's gambling. Oh, Wall Street has made more millionaires than real estate, but we've been taught it's a hustle. More millionaires than real estate. Yeah, you can make money in real estate, but don't get it confused again. You will not be a multimillionaire if you're not doing it on a large scale. And if you're not in real estate now, you will not become a successful real estate investor. What I mean by successful, meaning you will never have to work again. People who own real estate now and getting into real estate, they still need a job. A lot of them, 90% of them still need a job. They have a house, they bought it, they flipped, they made some money coming in. You're going to buy another house? Okay, cool. That money is just recycling just to make money that will not move the needle. I need you to start thinking about, am I making money that's going to move the needle in my life? Not a couple of $1,000s and being excited, because that's going to be gone. That lifestyle of living is going to be gone. So now that I'm back, guess what? As soon as I got back, I felt that stress. I felt everything right back on me, right back on my back again. Me, 1000%, I will be leaving the country. I will be going out of this. I will be getting out of this climate of what's happening, because it's not healthy. You know, I'm at the certain age where I want to live a nice life and enjoy my fruits. You know, I don't want to just work hard to amass something of wealth and just leave it for other people to spend, and then I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, I want to leave something for my family, 1000%. More importantly, I want to enjoy why I worked so hard at something to get it. And now I don't want to work as hard to keep it. I want to enjoy it. So I want to implant that thought in your brain. I want you to think about what it would be like if everything around you stopped. The noise, the confusion, the stress, the traffic. What would that feel like? I want you to make a list. And here's another thing I want you to get away from. One of the biggest things people ask me, and they say, what about your family if you leave? What about, your children if you leave? What about the grandchildren if you leave? I want to remind you, everything I've done has been for me and for them, even me leaving the country. Here's why. Me leaving the country, I'm going to expose my family to thoughts they probably never thought of. They're going to hear these stories and ideas and business and plans coming from me. They're going to be able to come visit me and go, wow, this is what it's like. For my grandchildren, they're going to be able to not go from one neighborhood to another neighborhood. They're going to be able to go from a neighborhood to a plane ride, to see land, to see ownership of things in other countries that I have. And they're going to be able to go, this is what freedom feels like. That's what they're going to see. So when people say, oh, what about your family? What about the friends? What about this? I want you to think about it. How many times a year do you see your family? How many times a year do you get with the same family that you talk about you don't want to be away from? 3, 4, 5 times a year? Okay, I can fly back and spend time with them here. But more importantly, like I said, they could fly out to come spend time with me, and I can open their brain up to something. They can get their stress or the monkey off of their back. How many times people have this thing where they can't let go? Where I realized, me personally, that I was suffering through Stockholm syndrome for 30 years. 30 years of thinking that there was nothing better than what I had. There was nothing better. I can't go somewhere else. Speaking the language. All these countries speak the English language because a lot of them relying on tourism. A lot of them having not only tourism, but people from other countries living there. And of course, I'm visiting other countries. I'm visiting Africa. There's other places that I want to give you information on, especially if you're older, 50 and older. There's retirement visas I want you guys to look into. 50-year retirement visa in Panama, where all you have to do is you don't have to own real estate. Keep $1,000 a month in the bank account. You get a retirement visa that's 10 years where you can travel, not just Panama, but travel all over. You need to start preparing to have another way to leave the country if the United States or other countries don't start to respect our passports. Start preparing for that. So for me, I'm getting my visa I'm looking to do Panama. I did the Mauritians. I'm waiting for a reply back from them. And I'm also going to be doing Thailand. I'm not going to give up my U.S. residence. No, I'm not going to do that. There's no need to. But I can have visas that will last 10 years in other countries that I can move around freely. So I need you guys to look and to think about that. Remember, I'm giving you my perspective from Thailand. There are people who went to Africa, they enjoy that. I have friends in South America, Colombia. They're enjoying it. They're loving their life. But you're not going to hear about that on the news. You're not going to see a lot of it on social media. You know why? Because the United States has done a great marketing job on you, and they don't want you to think that this is the only place you could get health care, only place you could get good medical, the only place. The constant poisoning of us in within our food. And yes, you could try to eat healthy, but the constant poisoning, like I realize when I'm juicing in the United States, going to buy fresh fruits from a store that has fruits, that has all the things injected in it, all the preservatives, all the additives, all the chemicals, but I'm making juice. That's not healthy juice because it's still bad fruits, even though I'm juicing the bad fruits. Now I need to buy organic fruits, which cost just as double as the original fruits. So the fruits that don't have no pesticides, no preservatives, none of those things cost more. I'm paying more for a fruit that was just grown in natural water, and I'm paying less for those that have all that pesticide in it. That's the weirdest thing for me. So I'm in a country now where there's not even a conversation of that. Everything is organic and fresh, like everything. And I'm just, and hey, listen, I'm not here to bash. I'm here to give you the other side and the view of it. Me being in Thailand for investments, me buying real estate, great investments, great rentals, me living there, great. Um, my visas getting for other countries, I'm on it. Looking for that to happen. I will share that with you, but I need you to start thinking about what's happening around you living in the States. And it's not a bashing of the United States, like anywhere. People are fleeing other countries and coming here. And I get that as an example of why this is one of the best places. And I will remind you, people are fleeing tyranny and unrest. So they're coming here because this country will bring you in and take you in. Other countries are not going to be bringing in other people because it doesn't work. It doesn't work with the economic structure. But here, yeah, you could come here. Yeah, you could come here and you can possibly work and get a job, but this administration is shipping people out. I want to remind you, every great empire eventually falls. Rome is burning, and I'm looking at United States as being Rome. Rome is burning. And I had to step away from the fire to realize it wasn't just one sector of making money that was burning. It was all the other sectors of us making money that was burning. And I need you guys to take a step back and think about your livelihood. Can it survive in the next 5 years? Can you live here in the next 5 years? And I don't care how much social media we see, where people showing you all the toys, all the houses, all these things. A lot of them are making money based on other people paying them for services. But when those people start losing jobs, where their income going to start coming in? They're going to need to start revamping and adjusting their money into investing into the tech, the stocks, the companies, the market, but they're not giving that information to the people who they're telling you can make money by having this business, by doing these things. Like people are being taught how to make short money that's not going to move the needle, while the person that's teaching them is investing their money in long-term growth, which is a sad scenario. So I want you to evaluate what's going on, especially if you're getting information from people to help you make money. Is that money going to help you grow in the long term? And if not, what are their investments in? And have that conversation. But my trip in Thailand was incredible, eye-opening, life-changing, and I will be traveling to other countries, investing and looking to invest in other countries, but more importantly, investing in the technology of the United States. I'll be investing in the AI in the United States. I'll be investing in cryptocurrency throughout the world that's impacting the world. but I will not be investing in the livelihood of people having to go to work to pay me. That's what I won't be investing in anymore. With that being said, I want to thank you guys on this version of Eye of the Storm with my recap of my trip from Thailand. Comment below, send me questions. The link is there if you want to email me. Follow me on different platforms. Guys, click the like button, share. All that matters and help. I'm realizing the algorithm is nuts here, and I want more people to see this information. So share it with those who you think it'll fit. And with that being said, I need y'all never to forget to always seek knowledge. Peace.